The South China Sea is once again on fire. A Philippine vessel was heavily damaged after being blasted by water cannons from Chinese Coast Guard ships. Beijing accused Manila of being at fault, while the Philippines called it blatant aggression. This was reported directly by CBS News and in official Philippine Coast Guard footage on YouTube. The world now waits to see if this spark will ignite into a raging fire. According to CBS News, the clash took place near Scarborough Shoal, also known as Bajo de Masinloc, one of the most contested features in the South China Sea. The Philippine vessel BRP Datu Gumbay Piang, tasked with supporting local fishermen and delivering supplies, was blasted by water cannons for nearly 30 minutes. Windows were shattered, the captain's cabin was damaged, electrical systems were hit, and one crew member was injured by flying shards of glass. China accused more than 10 Philippine government ships of entering the shoal from multiple directions, even alleging a deliberate collision between vessels. Manila strongly denied these accusations, insisting that its ships were merely conducting legitimate operations within its exclusive economic zone. Scarborough Shoal has long been a flashpoint. Once a traditional fishing ground for Filipinos, it is now tightly guarded by Chinese vessels that often form blockades to prevent entry. The dispute dates back to a tense standoff in 2012 when China seized practical control of the shoal after weeks of maritime confrontation. That incident became a turning point, forcing the Philippines to pursue legal action in international court. In 2016, the Permanent Court of Arbitration in The Hague ruled decisively in Manila's favor, rejecting Beijing's sweeping 9-line claim as inconsistent with international law. But Beijing flatly rejected the ruling, refusing to recognize the court's jurisdiction, and instead continued to expand its maritime presence with more ships, more bases, and more patrols. The Chinese Coast Guard vessels involved in this latest clash are believed to be Type 818 cutters, modernized ships equipped with high-powered water cannons, advanced radar arrays, and long-range acoustic devices designed to intimidate opponents. The BRP Datu Gumbay Piang, by contrast, is a modest logistics ship that carried no significant weaponry and was equipped only with basic communication systems and light defenses. According to Jane's Defense Weekly, concentrated water cannon blasts can generate pressure comparable to a vehicle collision, powerful enough to shatter reinforced glass, crush structural components, and injure crew members even inside protected cabins. Analysts say this incident reflects Beijing's evolving tactics. By claiming Philippine ships approached from multiple directions, China seeks to flip the narrative, portraying Manila as the provocateur and justifying its aggressive countermeasures. Yet the visible damage to the Philippine vessel, the documented injuries, and video evidence of repeated water cannon use strengthen Manila's case that it was the victim of deliberate intimidation. The risk of miscalculation in such encounters is enormous. Non-lethal measures like water cannons are intended as a form of gray zone coercion, operating below the threshold of war, but they can quickly escalate into lethal incidents if a crew panics, weapons are drawn, or allies intervene. In this case, even a shattered window and an injured sailor could have led to retaliatory actions had tensions risen further. The Pentagon responded swiftly, reaffirming America's ironclad commitments under the 1951 Mutual Defense Treaty, which obliges the United States to support the Philippines if its forces, vessels, or aircraft are attacked in the Pacific region. Japan and Australia echoed Washington's stance, calling the Chinese actions provocative and dangerous, and pledging continued joint patrols with Manila in contested waters. The European Union also issued a statement urging de-escalation, warning that continued clashes risk destabilizing global shipping lanes that carry trillions of dollars of trade annually. China brushed off the criticism, accusing Western powers of interfering in Asian affairs, while ASEAN nations remain divided. Vietnam, which has its own maritime disputes with Beijing, expressed sympathy for the Philippines and quietly stepped up its own patrols, while Cambodia and Laos chose silence, unwilling to anger Beijing. This division highlights a critical vulnerability: ASEAN's inability to prevent a united front against China's expansive claims. For China, the message is clear. It wants to demonstrate dominance, to normalize aggressive patrols, and to erode any sense of Philippine sovereignty over contested waters. For the Philippines, the strategy is equally clear: to expose Chinese coercion to the international community, to gather diplomatic support, and to frame itself as the underdog standing up to a superpower. This tug-of-war narrative makes every incident more than just a local skirmish. It becomes a test of credibility for both sides. The stakes extend beyond Manila and Beijing. If the Philippines were to lose effective control over Scarborough Shoal, it would undermine not just its territorial claims, but also the broader legal framework established by the 2016 arbitration ruling. Other nations would see international law as toothless, while China would be emboldened to press further into contested areas, including waters claimed by Vietnam, Malaysia, and Brunei. For Washington and its allies, failing to deter Chinese coercion risks signaling weakness in the Indo-Pacific, undermining deterrence not only in the South China Sea, but also in Taiwan and the wider region. Ships damaged, sailors injured, accusations flying across the seas, and diplomatic statements piling up. This single clash is more than just a maritime incident. It is a microcosm of the broader struggle for power, law, and influence in one of the world's most strategically vital waterways. The question is, how long will the world allow this cycle to spiral out of control? Will the South China Sea become the next theater of war? Or will cooler heads prevail before the waters turn red? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more updates.